Hi guys, I'm doing an alien UFO series, just explaining my experiences, and I'm going to start off with my brother's experience. And I want to say it was like, oh, here, first of all, I still have the black eye, but it's getting better. Let's get the elephant out of the room. I hope it's not too distracting. I'll just put on my glasses. Anyway, it's better. I've got a concussion, so I've got a headache. Had a headache for a week now. So I did a video earlier on it, and just leave a nightlight on or something, because it's just not worth, days upon days of pain. So, and if I would have hit it right here, I hit it right here on the wall. If I would have hit right here, you have a soft spot right where your third eye is, and you can die. So, and at the very least, I would have had 2 black eyes and a worse concussion. So, I would just suggest everyone leave a little light on, something. I think most people need to go to the restroom, when in the middle of the night. So just leave a light on. This is the 3rd time I did it. So, I mean, this is probably the worst besides breaking my toe. But anyway, I finally got the 4 night lights, and they're very dim, so it's cool. I mean, it doesn't keep me awake or anything, and I can still see my way to the restroom. So go buy your nightlight. Go buy it. Okay, so I want to start out with, I just think this is worth mentioning. My brother, I want to say it was about 1967, 1968 maybe. I think it was 1967. Him and his friend were outside, and we lived by a lake. I don't know if I should, if this is worth mentioning or not, but it seems like UFOs like water. So anyway, we lived by a pretty big lake, and him and his friend were outside playing. I was, I think I was 9 years old. So anyway, I was in the house, but my brother came running in the door, him and his friend, saying that he saw a UFO, that they both saw a UFO, and it was daylight too. And it seems like a lot of times, things will happen during the day. But anyway, so I thought that would be worth mentioning also. Anyway, he come running in the door, all excited that they saw a UFO, and he called the police. And the police came and took the whole report, and oh my God, he was excited about it for weeks. But we never saw it again. He said he never saw the UFO again or anything. So, but anyway, I follow Robert Earl White. Order of Light is his YouTube channel, and it's all about UFOs and stuff. And he's the guy. I think probably most people have probably heard the Lower Alloway. What is it? The Lower Alloway incident. Him and his mom was involved with that. So, but he says you never just have one experience with a UFO. If you get one experience, you've had other experiences that you may or may not remember. And he says, well, a lot of people have been talking about putting the piece to, everybody has a piece to the puzzle that is interested in this sort of thing. If you're interested in this sort of thing, then, chances are you might have had some experiences that you don't remember. So, okay, so just getting all that out of the way. Here is my first story of the series. So in 1962, I was 4 years old. We had a relative, and you know what? I'm the matriarch now. All my older family members are dead, so um, so I don't have anyone to ask anymore these questions. And I would give anything if my grandma was here right now, and she could answer some of the questions that I have. You just get caught up in life and one day to the next, and you just don't ever um, think or have time to get the answer or even think about it until it's too late, like with me. So anyway, we had a relative named Matthew. So I remember my great grandmother, she was a florist, and I don't ever remember seeing like a great grandpa. So I don't know if this Matthew is my great grandpa and they were like divorced, or if he is, I don't know, a cousin or something. I don't know what. No one ever talked about who he was. I remember at 4 years old anyway. To who he was to me. But anyway, they always took me there to see him. So when I was little, I just remember going, and we'd have to drive a long way, like, a couple of hours to get there. And he was a smoker, like a chain smoker. So he had emphysema and he was bedridden pretty much. I mean, he could get out of bed and walk to the bathroom, but he was on oxygen and a whole bunch of medicine and everything. But what he would do is he would lay in his bedroom, and I remember it was a small bedroom with a single bed, and he was just in there with all his meds and his oxygen. And he would get up when we got there. He'd take his oxygen off, and he'd walk to the hallway. We'd all stand in the hallway while he smoked more cigarettes. He would smoke the whole time we were there, and then when we left, he would go lay down. But cigarettes are very addictive. I know I smoked cigarettes for 35 years, and now I vape, so not much better. But I did quit smoking cigarettes with the vape, but now here I am addicted to the vape. So, but anyway, his name was Matthew. I can't tell you his last name. I just know that we were related. And let me see. Okay, so where he worked at Area 51, but he lived in the Midwest. So we were in the Midwest then. I think he was in Salina, Kansas, but when we would go and visit him. But probably about, I don't know, once a month or something, these guys would come and pick him up in a, like a car, like a nice car. They'd come pick him up. He wouldn't take anything. He wouldn't take his oxygen, no meds, no nothing. I know, no toothbrush, no clothes, no nothing. As soon as they got there, he would get in the car and go. And he told us that he couldn't tell us. He couldn't tell his wife, oh, he was married. I don't know if he was remarried, divorced my great-grandmother and remarried. Anyway, I'm still trying to figure out who this guy is, or who he is to me. So he couldn't tell his wife. Oh, wow. I'm trying to remember his wife. Well, I'll try to think of her later. She would just always leave us with him, though. I remember her answering the front door when we would knock, and then she would let us in, and then she would go do her own thing or whatever. I don't know, but she always left us alone. Well, anyway, I'll think about that later. So, So he worked at Area 51, but he was really sick. He was dying of emphysema. But he had a lot of knowledge, apparently. So they would come and get him and take him. Like, he couldn't work physically or anything. He could barely just walk to the hallway to smoke or to the bathroom. Um, so I know there wasn't any physical working involved. They were just using his mind. So, so he would be gone for a few days, and then he would come back and get in bed, and that was his life. He told us, and I remember him saying, "I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I'm not able to talk about this stuff. I'm like sworn to not tell my wife or anyone," and he didn't. So the only thing I know about him is I remember when he was laying there and we were all standing around the bed and he was talking. He would start talking about President Eisenhower and President, and his face would morph into President Eisenhower. Exactly. I mean, it just looked like he like shape shifted into Eisenhower. It was just the weirdest thing. Like, his skin tone would change, his eyes changed, the shape of his face looked like it was changing, like just gradual, So, like, the more he talked about Eisenhower, the more he would look like Eisenhower. It was just so weird. But at the time, I was 4 or 5, and this was just normal for me. So I just thought, oh, well, I didn't think anything about it, right? I didn't think anything about it. But I remember my mom and my grandma and my grandpa, they were all be excited about it. On the drive home, they'd be talking about what he'd said and how he looked and, just the whole visit and everything. So anyway, it makes me a little bit nervous, to post this because I don't want any trouble. I guess I'm a big chicken. I just don't want any trouble from, the Men in Black or the CIA or whoever would show up at my door. I don't want anyone showing up at my door. I don't have any information. So he didn't say anything of what he did at Area 51, like nothing. I like, for real. I know nothing about it. All I know is that these guys would come and get him. He'd get in the car, and then they'd bring him back, and he'd be fine. And he said he just went to work. And I remember my grandma asked him, "Well, what about your oxygen and everything?" He said, "Oh, they have everything there at the base for me." So they evidently had the meds, the oxygen, the clothes, a toothbrush. I mean, like, they had stuff. Maybe, I don't know if he had his own, like, bedroom or what, but, I mean, he wasn't ever, like, dirty. So I know that he had showered there and stuff like that. Okay, I'm trying to go over my notes here. Hmm. I am just telling you this story because it's leading up to another couple of stories. But I thought I should start at the beginning, of these different things that have happened in my life. So this was 1962. And also, it occurred to me last night that he always came back sick. I mean, the same, not sicker or anything, but he always came back with the emphysema. And everybody's talking about the med beds now. Well, they must not have had med beds back then, because they would have healed him for sure, right? But he did end up dying of emphysema from smoking cigarettes. So anyway, that's kind of strange, because I'm thinking these aliens are light years ahead of us, right? Seems like they should have had med beds back then. I don't know. I mean, maybe they did, maybe they didn't, maybe it was just his time to go. I really don't know. But anyway, I was thinking about contacting Laura Eisenhower as I know that she would be interested in this story. I would just like to talk to her for a minute, about it sometime. But anyway, I know that she's super busy. She's super busy. She's got her own YouTube channel and stuff, and she's always on these other podcasts that I watch. So I don't know. I don't know if she'd ever see this video. Probably not. I don't know. But I may or may not. If I do, I'll do a video on that. But so far, I haven't even tried to get a hold of her. So anyway, I think that's it, guys. This is the first story in the series. It's not exactly my story, but I don't know if I have anything to do with that, and I don't realize it or what. I don't know why my grandparents took me to see him all the time, and they never took my brother. My brother never went with us. It was just me, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa. That's it. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. But anyway, okay. First one down. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye.